All right, y'all.
I can go for me.
All right. In Majriya, in our philosophy, let me remind you, you do not have to become Buddhist to study that philosophy because the religious implications are not a necessity. You do this because you want to free your mind. You don't join a group to free your mind. It's contradiction. You join a group when you find it useful. That's it. So, Majriya is a teaching more than an organization. We stimulate our heart and our mind so much by doing these techniques. We move our consciousness, our energy, our soul. We are stimulated intensely. We go to deep suffering parts to free ourselves from that, to free that suffering, and go to intense, caring, and loving experiences. And we get back to normal life and it's fucking boring. Okay. So I'm going to teach you about that. Especially those who've been doing Majriya training for months and even years. Your normal life seems to be so boring. There's a teaching called fixity. It's a teaching where we just sit and fix a point and we relax. And whatever doesn't want to just relax rises. So your mind goes completely crazy. And you don't fight with your mind. You don't try to stop thinking. You just try to stay there and gently come to no mind. And your mind, boom, explodes again. And after 5 minutes of this, it's challenging. After 45 minutes, you want to die, okay? It's something inside you so much wants to entertain itself that you go mad. We do fixity and we recommend fixity for one important reason. It is to compensate for the intense stimulation that we do constantly while doing our other spiritual stuff. Okay? Because if we don't do fixity to get to a clear, gentle, still mind, what happens is we don't purify ourselves of the addiction of the emotional rush. And we become like people addicted to drugs or extreme sports. We just want more of that integration, which makes us evolve. It's wonderful. But you go back to normal life, and it attacks you. It aggresses you. So not intense it is. So much normal life doesn't seem to be explosively spiritual. You don't find the presence of God there as much as when you do your practice. That's why we do fixity. And if you can't bear fixity more than 5 minutes, well, you have to learn Siddhi meditation. Siddhi meditation will have some of that effect, some of that calming effect. It will produce eventually other blissful experiences. That doesn't mean the same goal as fixity. Fixity is for you to look at the suffering of your ego that flees the state of peace. You find your life boring because you're stuck with the sickness of entertainment. Seriously. So fixity is simple. And we'll try it now. 3 minutes. And see in 3 minutes. 3 minutes is not long enough. Okay? It's just to start settling the mind. So you fix a point in front of you. Usually on the floor. If there's too much people in front of you, you need to have your eyes open a little, at least to fix a point downwards in front of you. Relax. If your body itches, don't scratch. Just look at it. Pay attention to it, but don't scratch. If you want to cough, don't cough. Just look at it until you can't bear it and you have to scratch or cough. It's okay if at one point you do it. but try to just look and relax. And you breathe. Your attention is on your breath and your eyes are on the point. If your eyes are trying to find a different point, like, oh, that point is not good, let's find another one. Don't do that. Just fix on your original point. Gently try to stop thinking. Don't fight, just gently. And when you notice thinking happens again, just gently come back to no mind. Gently and softly come back to no mind and fix your point. Do not be violent with your mind, just gently come back. And come back to a normal state of being as we will continue the teachings. That was not long. Some of you with a bit of experience just fell into that state. It was okay. None of my students, I think, can do it for a few hours. I enjoy doing this sometimes for a few hours. It's not required to get to that point. But if you can't do it, you can't ascend. Okay? Enlightenment is very hard to attain if your mind needs to always be active. Okay? Were you aggressed? At one point did something jump in your face that didn't want to stop? That's the point of fixity. We do it for 15, 20 minutes at first. It becomes a trial. Because your mind needs to entertain itself. It needs to move. And if you've got energy in your energy channels that is not used to move, it's going to try to pop and itch. I got one pop at one point. It popped, so it just stayed there. But sometimes it just wants to go more and more. You have to just look at what is not at peace and don't think. Did any of you have the need to find? Okay, that point is good. It's better. Did you try to find a different point? Yeah, some of you got that. The ego will react in different ways to that wisdom. Will try to entertain itself, to be active, to be implicated. What is the hardest part of fixity is the fact that it is the only thing that does not require the ego's implication. So your ego freaks out. It's not in charge. So we start with a challenging 15-20 minutes. If you just do 5 minutes like we just did, this is just to show you the technique, to show you that you start to have a bit of disturbance. Your mind followed a few fantasies. Can we say this? Sometimes your mind just went into one of those composed thought processes. You created the dreams and thought processes, lines of thinking. Just drag you, okay, yeah, come back. And you do this to spend as much time as you can where you are aware, but there's no thinking process going on. When you can do that, then you know how to think. Because like potentials, moving of their own accord, fixity will reveal those potentials. They will show you everything inside you that is trying to move without your accord. Because if you don't want to do anything and even not think, you just sit. And after 10 minutes, you're going to have parts of your body that aches and scratches and are uncomfortable. And, I have to put myself better. No, don't do that. Just some part of your body aches, look at it. Until it stops fighting and accept that you were sitting correctly to start with, you should be correct for the entire thing. Okay? Of course, you need to be sitting comfortably and naturally in a position you're used to. I'm used to sit like this for 12 hours in a row. Or maybe 6, 2 times after 5-minute break, But I can spend a day like this, 10, 15, 20 hours, just like that, or like this, and relax. And my body's used to that. So I can do fixity like this. If you're not used to that, you just sit. Do your fixity sitting while you train being cross-legged. But it's not a necessity. Okay? Fixity is the art of fixing yourself on something. When you see something react, if you have a violent compensation, oh no, I must not think. That isn't unhealthy, and that makes meditation even harder. A great, beautiful saint that I forgot his name. He's a Buddhist wise teacher in Australia. Anyone remember his name? I forgot. So anyway, he's like one of the top dudes in Australia in the Buddhist World Organization. Thich Nhat Hanh is Vietnamese. There's another guy that's younger. He looks like you a bit, little glasses and everything. And this guy said at one point, I don't have the exact wording, but it means something like, if it's hard to meditate, you're not doing it correctly. Basically, that's what it means. If you fight with the entire process, you're not doing it correctly. You don't fight. So fixity and concentration is not the effort to pay attention here. It is to stop making an effort to pay attention to everything else. Okay? It's just to release the natural impulse to want to go elsewhere. So it's not about forcing yourselves to stay here. It's about to disengage every natural effort to do something else. Then simply drop here. Okay? And that is the correct way to meditate. Relaxing every potential inside you. And whatever potential fights, these potentials will be revealed. So if those potentials that can be relaxed, they will relax. And those potentials that are meant to fight, to get out, to project, those naturally come up. So you look at it. Your eyes are on the point, your attention is on your breath until your attention needs to be on that thing that hitched, that thing that aches, that, whatever. Throat ache, sometimes I allow myself to go to entire, 10, 13-day sickness. Because I can, and it's okay. I would just enjoy being sick, which is usually not your level of experience of things. In a very high level of compassion, you don't see suffering where there seems to be suffering. But if I need to talk, if I have a speech, I will heal myself in half an hour. I just sit, and I fully observe the throat that is irritated. And then the irritation is madness. It wants to cough like crazy, and I got tears running down because I'm not coughing while it wants to. I'm just like if I hate a chunk of wasabi, it's a and I still relax. And some of you have seen me physically eat a chunk of wasabi like this and roll it in my mouth to have the full experience and just stay calm. Okay, this is what fixity brings. Just take the information and not react. But not out of an effort, I must not react. No, that's fighting. You just take the throat that is sick and you observe it. And at one point I would cough every 5 minutes instead of every 30 seconds. It's, wow, drink water and come back to my fixity. So if you really need to scratch because you can't even do fixity anymore, you just, I can't live with that anymore. And when it starts to itch again, you just try to not go into that. Your attention is there, your eyesight is, your gaze is on the point, you're just relaxing. You'll see your eyes at one point start to stretch. The stress in your optical nerves. Just trying to always be looking at something somewhere will just jump and aggress you. Yes, look at the stress in that need to fix anything else, and your point is there. And it's going elsewhere. The first point I chose was this, so it's going to be this. So from the start, take a comfortable point, which is as possible in front, slightly on the right if you want, because there's the Zen technique that the point is in front right a bit. But you just take a point in front. Okay. Fixity will bring you to be at peace, because what rushes for stimulation will rise, and you'll do integration. You'll look at it. And once you can do this, like some people are in a special program right now, it's called Project D, and they have 5 minutes of fixity to do in the morning and in the evening, even while training. Yes, you do it. It works. Yeah, you like it at all. You've been practicing, like, I can't take your testimonial. You've been doing hours of that. But who has trouble with fixity? Even the 5 minutes. Yeah, he's one of those. Yeah, you can have trouble a lot with that. Susie's been doing it 5 minutes every day, morning and evening, and you still do it. And you see how much stuff rushes to get entertainment.
No, the 5
Fixity.
minutes is not that much of a
What is it then?
struggle. It's when it gets longer than 5 minutes, like 20 minutes.
When you get to 20, it's, yeah, okay, so you're at that point. When you can reach 1 hour of fixity, 5 days in a row, tell me, I'm going to teach you superpowers. Stuff like cool shit. Okay? I'm not saying 1 entire hour with no thoughts. I'm saying 1 entire hour where when there is thinking, you come back and you're not in a state of trial. I don't know a single person, even my teachers, that could spend 1 or 2 hours with no mental process. And it would piss them off that I could. But, it's training. It's just a lot of training. If you just do fixity to endure whatever wants to stimulate, and then go, whew, that one was hard, I really had stuff come up. You're not doing enough work on yourself. Fixity is to relax, and when something wants to come out, you do the integration of that. You look at it so that you will be free from it. So next time you do fixity, you get one less thing wanting to come out of you. One less stimulation. Okay? We're good? Thank you. Fix a point. Attention is on the breath. So it's not just trying to get to know thinking. It is important when someone wants to rush out to not think about it, but to observe it nonetheless. Just put your attention on what doesn't agree with stillness. Whatever potential reveals itself, do a calm integration of that. You'll go to full fixity afterwards. Feel the emotion behind it. And we come back. So you see the kind of potential set in motion, the kind of stuff that was not in stillness, for me is I just kept thinking in what I was going to teach you, on how I was setting up some people in various experiences to trial their mind, in the way I was pranking my advanced students to integrate the stuff that they're hiding from. This is the kind of stuff that I had coming up, because this is what I'm very invested in doing this weekend. Okay. I seldom have other types of disturbance. Now I'm going to give you a trick. If it's just in the head that you do your fixity, it's going to be so difficult. You know what presence is? The idea of presence, of being present. I've taught you a few times. I'll give you an introduction again. After doing a lot of integration, you can feel in your abdomen a presence of what you are. Do you understand what I mean? After feeling a few emotions, even just yesterday's training and today, you can feel present here. So not just look at your breath, is I'm here, I exist, I feel, I'm present. Okay? So it's not just the abdomen, it's like the entire body but without effort. We're not doing the full Yoan incarnation process. We're just, I'm present. So your stillness is not a hold on and let's not do nothing. No, it's not a hope that nothing happens. It's I am here without the words. Okay? So you breathe and you go present. So let's try it right now. I'm present. Not fixity right now, just the feeling of presence. I'm here, I feel it, I'm conscious, I'm right there. A bit like yesterday's class on transmigration that you had. Okay? And those who will watch the video, there's another seminar where I teach that. So that transmigration where we kind of interact with someone else's experience, their own flesh. Now you do this in yourself. You transmigrate in you. It's I live there, I exist there, I feel it. And it's not a very explosive experience in transmigration, but it's the same. You sink in, you know you're here. I am in my body. You transmigrate into your experience of flesh. Okay? So you're in your own body, especially the abdomen, very relaxed. And from that feeling of presence, fix your point. And you are in the presence. Relax even more. Stay in the attitude, the feeling of presence. Focus on the abdomen. Gaze on the point. Relax more. No mind, but presence. Energy reacts, energy circulates, it's wonderful. Just go to no mind and presence. Breathe deeply and come back to yourself. Normally. Oh, that was different, eh? Did you feel some kind of activation of your energy, life force? Was it easier to spend longer periods of time without thinking? Huh? Who had longer periods of time without thinking than before? Yeah, pretty much half the people. A lot of us. The idea of presence, of being here, keeps your mind onto something, but nothing precise. It's just there. So instead of doing fixity with your mind, you do it with your entire guts, your feeling. And that's the good way to do fixity. You are present. And it's not an effort. And naturally, your energy, your chakras, boom, everything starts to just go. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That's a Taoist experience. It's called acceleration. You know, in the Highlander movie, they use that term. When you feel your energy just activate so intensely. Well, that's a Taoist term. Acceleration is the way they would say in Chinese, I forgot the actual name, of the process. You're present there with nothing hindering the fact that you're present there. Naturally, your entire systems go woof. And you start to heal. You start to regenerate. You grow younger. You just come back to an empowered state. So peaceful, so gentle. Because you're not forcing yourself in presence. You're gently landing in yourself. You're gently bathing in that very soft presence. Not as heavy as when you transmigrate. I live there. It's just, I'm there. The presence is that feeling. So not just your intellect doing the fixity, it's your entire being. And that entire being will awaken so many potentials at once, and still you're more comfortable in the fixity. So the real stuff that you need to integrate will just rise up in time, okay? If your intention and presence is too strong, you will be muting what needs to be revealed. If you're not present, you're just aggressed by everything, and you're not practicing being here. Being here means being here, not in your thought, I'm here because my eyes fix a point. No, I'm here, I feel it. So meditation is felt gently, softly, carefully, but it's not in the head. It's in the whole of the being. Meditation is lived. It's not thought. Okay? Good little class on fixity. So, doing fixity, start 5 minutes. If you can, bear 15. It will make your integration easier. Whatever needs to be stimulated and entertained will come out. You know, we need to be entertained and stimulated constantly because we have emotions like abandonment, rejection, and guilt that just wants to hide. You know, I need to do something so I don't think about the stuff I have inside me. There's something that doesn't want to be known. That's why your mind is always projecting outside, so you will not know what's going on. So fixity will allow to rise, these things to rise, okay? So you'll see it, and at one point, you can be in stillness, doing nothing. You can have your repetitive daily chores at work. You can do your daily routine, and you're not bored anymore. Because what you call boring, I call peaceful. What you call, repeating, recursive, and daily, I call stable and harmonious. Because I'm not aggressed by that mundanity. Of course, I've got pretty big rushes in my work, up and downs, and everything is just explosive. I go back home, I'll do the same thing for hours a day. Just I do my little thing, settle down, do my fixity. That's my main practice. That and saying mantras. Fixity frees you from what finds life boring. In Majriya, we are so intensely stimulating ourselves at one point we can't even accept a normal life. And that's difficult. Yeah? So do the fixity. Fixity puts you at peace at doing nothing that is explosive and stimulating. It will bring you back in this availability to just do your thing. So when you're at the restaurant cooking food or serving, or when you're at the job brooming, when you're doing your daily chores, if you're doing the accounting or the teaching or the management, whatever you do that you usually find boring, you're going to say, wow, I'm doing this. It's what I'm doing every day, but I feel present. I feel here. And I don't feel like changing that anymore. There's no pressure to change or to flee the reality you're in. So that's pretty good, okay? Life has been so boring, I had to show you how to live intensely without hindering your body. Okay? It's like extreme sport, but just inside. Extreme sport. Doing your integration. Then I need to show you how to find a sense of stability so you don't become addicted to that higher level of stimulation. Because if you're always doing the explosive Majriya technique and absorbing love and bliss, you're going to go depressed because you're going to use your nervous system too quickly. Yeah? So I have to show you these different methods. I've been encouraging fixity since the first day, and I never found a way to show you how important it is until I found that explanation on you find your life boring, you don't. That's because you're not doing fixity. You're not doing what I told you to do to still be able to do your job in life and find it cool, right? So I hope you enjoyed that. Let's go for a break.